student, who is constantly bullied by his classmates, obtains a scroll that changes him forever. Rokudu is a first-year student attending a high school for delinquents, where he is constantly bullied by his classmates, especially Inuma. In a recent incident, Inuma stole Rokudu's lunch, making him use his mouth to catch it, while laughing at him when he failed. Despite this, Rokudu has two good friends who are also social outcasts and help him out. Colonel gives him his meatball, and Chief gives him his ham. Inuma's girlfriend, Tsubaki, is loud, and when Rokudu and his friends glance at her, they notice her short, revealing skirt, and can't help but stare at her tights. She notices their gaze, and instantly makes them turn around. Inuma warns them that if they stare again, they will pay. Unfortunately, the loser group always ends up with the short end of the stick, and the bathroom is the only place they can speak their mind. Frustrated by the way they are treated by the delinquents for being good students, the three friends wish they could stand up and claim the fun, peaceful school life of their dreams. Suddenly, they hear Inuma's voice, talking about becoming the leader of a gang group once he's in his 3rd year. The three keep quiet and berate him once he leaves, and Colonel proposes a gaming mission at Rokudu's to blow off some steam. Upon arriving home, Rokudu discovers a package waiting for him that was sent by his late grandfather. Eager to uncover its contents, he opens the package to find a mysterious scroll. His grandfather's note explains that the scroll will assist him in times of danger. Though Colonel dismisses the idea as nonsense, Rokudu stands by his grandfather's words. He recalls his grandfather assuring him that he will one day be loved by everyone, and that their family possesses a treasure passed down through generations, containing spells used by demons. They agree that their school is like a battlefield, and Colonel deduces that this is the danger his grandfather had foreseen. They realize that the time has come to fight back against their tormentors and reclaim a peaceful school experience. Rokudu grasps the scroll, but has no idea how to use it. Suddenly it begins to glow, and his friends point out a mark on his forehead. Uncertain of his newfound powers, he can't help but believe they must be somewhat incredible. When a group of thugs demand Rokudu's lunch money, he looks at them with a sad expression and warns them not to mess with him, pointing out that he has special powers. However, one of the thugs unexpectedly punches him, causing Rokudu to flinch in pain. Despite this, one of the girls in the group speaks up and suggests leaving Rokudu alone, leaving him dumbfounded as to why. Inuma, as usual, is about to snatch Rokudu's lunch when Tsubaki intervenes, suggesting they should leave him alone this time. She blushes while making the proposal, and to avoid drawing attention to herself, suggests taking his friend's lunch instead. This confuses Rokudu, who notices Tsubaki acting strangely towards him all day. In their usual hideout, Rokudu tells his friends that the girls have been helping him out, but they dismiss it as coincidence and want to continue bad-mouthing the bullies. Suddenly, someone knocks on the bathroom stall door, and it turns out to be Tsubaki. She struggles to articulate her thoughts in a sweet voice. When another person enters, she quickly switches to a different tone, then reverts back to her sweet demeanor, apologizing for everything and promising to leave him alone, leaving him and his friends in shock that the she-devil apologized. In the bustling city, a muscular girl with a wooden sword catches the attention of the pedestrians with her unusual appearance. As she strolls by a park, she witnesses a gang of rowdy individuals causing trouble. She confidently strides towards them and asks to speak with their leader. The gang's blue-haired thug arrogantly claims the title and orders her to leave before he resorts to violence. With a swift strike, she smashes his head with her wooden sword. The gang erupts in fury, threatening to make her pay for her actions, but the girl stands her ground with unwavering determination. As they make their way home, Colonel notices something strange. They pass by a group of girls who all seem to be looking at Rokudu, likely because they're interested in him. The problem is that all of them are bad girls, which is quite confusing. Suddenly, Inuma approaches Rokudu in a furious rage, demanding to know what his deal is with Tsubaki and why he's on her home screen. Things only continue to spiral out of control. Colonel suggests that it's the demon's magic and reminds Rokudu of his grandfather's words, that he will be loved by everyone, meaning all the bad girls. As the girls from before approach Rokudu, he can't take it and runs away, only to bump into the muscular girl. Rokudu quickly apologizes and offers to help the girl out. His spell takes effect, making her suddenly attracted to him. The girl had to beat up the entire gang from before. One of the thugs is questioned, and upon remembering what happened, he becomes scared for his life, calling the girl a terrorizing monster. The girl takes Rokudu's hand, uniting their fate, and that's when he notices that she's covered in blood. Upon returning to school, Rokudu is surprised to find out that the girl from the previous day is in his class. He had no idea she was a student there. During their break, the delinquents are all curious about the new girl, but Tsubaki is not pleased with the fact that she's sitting next to Rokudu. Inuma becomes increasingly suspicious, but Tsubaki denies any connection with Rokudu. Inuma's group decides to give her a heads up, and Takeru takes it upon himself to ask for her name, but she completely ignores him, which only agitates him further. Desperate to find out her name, Takeru turns to Rokudu, but before he can finish a sentence, the new girl suddenly perks up, startling everyone. Colonel believes that this confirms Rokudu's demonic powers. Takeru, annoyed with the whispering, takes his frustration out on Colonel. In the midst of the tension, Rana introduces herself to Rokudu, but Takeru's continued outburst leads to him being knocked out by her. Takeru regains consciousness in the hospital, but he has no memory of what happened. Eventually, he remembers Rena and becomes overwhelmed with fear. Inuma interrupts him, questioning how Rena became so powerful. After school, Rokudu flees in terror, unwilling to sit next to Rena and even considering transferring schools. Chief and Colonel chase after him, attempting to calm him down. Colonel explains that Rena is in trouble with Ainuma's gang due to her previous outburst, and they cannot abandon a girl in need. Rokudo ponders the concept of girls, as he has had little interaction with them in his life. He is especially baffled by the idea of bad girls, who defy the traditional notion of helpless women. Despite the confusion, he finds himself drawn to her thighs. Yes, that's his motivation. Rena catches up to them and apologizes, but Rokudo expresses his gratitude for her intervention, causing her to blush. Rokudo finds her shyness endearing. At the hospital, Iinuma meets with one of his gang members, who informs him that a girl had beaten up their entire gang. It doesn't take long for Iinuma to realize that the culprit was none other than Rana. The gang member had done some digging on her, and discovered that she had a reputation for dismantling gangs and Yakuza families all on her own. What's even more frightening is that she wasn't after anything in particular. When asked why she did it, she simply replied that she was just angry. The gang member recalls the intense look she gave him, as if he was nothing more than an insignificant insect. He can't help but think that anyone who could have Rana on their side would be invincible. Meanwhile, Rokudo is determined to protect Rena from the school bullies. He believes that Iinuma will seek revenge and is willing to endure being bullied as long as he can divert attention away from her, thinking it's his duty as a man. However, Rena stops him and makes a promise to him that she will slaughter every delinquent just for him. He can't get through to her at all. The next morning, Rokudo ponders on how he can protect Rena. Suddenly, his spell activates and he finds himself surrounded by bad girls, as if they were predators. But the apex predator among them is Rana, who scares everyone away. Yesterday, the two of them made a pact for Rena not to fight back no matter what, even if she gets bored. For now, Iinuma lets things be. Back in his safe space, Rokudo confides in his friends about Rana. However, Colonel is delighted that she is on their side, and Iinuma's group has even left them alone. The magic may have helped them get closer to their ideal school life, and they choose to maintain a positive outlook. Outside the bathroom, Iinuma confronts Rokudo, wondering why all the girls are siding with a weakling like him. Takeru suggests letting it go, but Iinuma refuses, as he despises weaklings. He warns Rokudo that he will beat him sooner or later. Chief and Captain propose seeking Rana's assistance, but when Rokudo approaches her, he is taken aback by her badly bruised appearance. She happily reveals that she was ganged up on, and despite the delinquents being weaker than flies, she promised Rokudo not to fight back. She is willing to do anything for him. Rokudo sees her keeping her promise, and decides not to ask for her help with Iinuma, but to settle it himself. On the rooftop, Rokudo is ready to finally confront Iinuma, but when the time comes, he is frightened.